Newcastle United want Morgan Gibbs-White. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest transfer news. Coming up in today's episode, we got loads to tell you about. We got the Morgan Gibbs-White latest. Now that Newcastle is showing their hand, we'll tell you about Worrall and potentially a move to a Premier League. That may not be that long term. We'll tell you about Nico Williams. We got an update on Dennis for you. And are our boys coming home? Before we get started, as always, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And there's the Sofa Score, QR code. Please scan that if you haven't downloaded it already, or click on the link in the description. And congratulations to Rob Warwick, who won the giveaway that we did over on Twitter. He's got the City Ground coming his way, the Forest flag, and he's also got the Forest gnome all on his way to him. Congratulations to him. All right, let's kick this one off and let's give you the latest on Morgan Gibbs-White. Now, before I, make this sensationalized and everything, Morgan Gibbs-White's not for sale at Nottingham Forest. That's the current stance. So before you lot start hyperventilating and panicking, that's our starting point. However, every player has his price. Even I have my price. So Morgan Gibbs-White could be sold, but it would take a monumental bid. We talked about this yesterday when we were going through Spurs and what they wanted him for, etc. But this one from Newcastle actually has better foundations and better kind of logical progression. So what's happening at the moment is Newcastle are tight on FFP, which is ironic, is it not? Because they are the richest club in the world, owned by a literal country. And what we're going to be seeing is allegedly some money washing going on, where they're going to be selling players across to Saudi to pretty much any club they want there, and they'll accept the bid and the offer. It's all about a case of, can you convince the player to go? Well, at the moment, they've convinced Miguel Almirón to go. The reported fee is about 32 million. Now, Eddie Howe wants to replace him with Morgan Gibbs-White. And in theory, it doesn't make sense, but it kind of makes sense. One, Miggy always plays outright for Newcastle. We all know, as Forest fans, Morgan Gibbs-White is better off as a 10. Eddie Howe plays usually in a 4-3-3 formation, so he would end up having to shove Morgan Gibbs-White out on the right. So just from the formation side of things, this doesn't really look like a great fit to me. Obviously, as a player, Morgan Gibbs-White will have, potentially, you could argue, better players around him, can be more attacking and more progressive, so maybe may flourish on the right, whereas he struggled at Forest on the right. The other thing is, if they're going to get 32 million for Almirón, and they were going to have to spend at least 50 million for Morgan Gibbs-White. And I'm not saying that's his price tag. I'm just giving you a bottom line figure that maybe we can start from, and no doubt you lot will argue in the comments. But if, let's just say that we're going to pay 50 million, now they're in a net loss of 18 million, aren't they, if they get 32 for Almirón? However, that's not how it works, is it? Because if they were to sign Morgan Gibbs-White for 50 million over a 5-year contract, technically on the PSR, as in the FFP, it would only go down as 10 million per year. Are you still with me with the maths logic? Just trust me on this one. So technically, yes, they could afford him if they get him on a 5-year contract. Any lower than that, and obviously the price starts to squeeze. But we go back to the initial starting point. Forest, one, do not want to sell Morgan Gibbs-White. Secondly, do not need to sell Morgan Gibbs-White, which thirdly means that Morgan Gibbs-White's price is going to be way north of 50 million pounds. Could it happen? I doubt it. I doubt it. There's only a week left in the transfer window. Things can't really move that quickly. Well, maybe they can. But I do think this transfer window is starting to heat up because there's loads of stories coming out now. And let's move on to story number 2. But do you think, before we do, Morgan Gibbs-White will end up at Newcastle or Spurs? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let's move on to our second story, and this one, look, before we talk about Worrall, because this is about Worrall, just a little heads up. If you want to annoy a Sheffield fan, just call their club Sheffield. And I've got my guy created this beautiful badge right here, Sheffield FC. Nothing seems to annoy them more than that. And it's so much fun to do. So let's move on to the actual story. Worrall, well, should I say Sheffield are interested in Worrall. Very interested. Their dumbass manager wants Worrall. However, Sheffield have no money. And Forest have set a price tag of around £10 million for Worrall to go. And they are happy to let him go. However, Sheffield came in with a loan offer on Worrall. I think it was an option to buy, not even an obligation. And Forest have rejected it flat out. They've said if Worrall's going to go, he needs to go on a perm. And I don't think Sheffield will be able to put 10 million together. I really don't. Last season, they had to turn off their undersoil heating. They had to stop painting fences. They had to do all kinds of things to stop them from getting PSR'd in the championship. That's how dire their current situation is. We've just seen them loan yet another Forest old boy in Brereton Diaz. They've already got Osborne there. They seem to be getting, and even Ainal Ahmadiyya, whose name I can never properly say even when he was with us, all these ex-Forest boys, they just seem to be getting the, I don't want to say has-beens because I do like some of those players, but you know what I'm saying, the players that we've got our use out of and now we're moving them on and they have to downgrade themselves to continue on their playing career. So I can see Worrall being a good fit for them, especially when they get relegated. He will be fantastic for them in the championship. And I'm all for this deal. If Sheffield can beg, steal or borrow £10 million, come and get him. He's all yours. I'll pay for his taxi ride up the M1. Not a problem at all. But they are just such a joke of a club that they can't even afford that. They're in the Premier League trying to spend championship money and they're messing all of that up. It's hilarious, but Sheffield, get your act together, because I would say I'm happy for Worrall to go. I think if most people would probably agree now is the time for him to go, even though I've been saying it for 18 months. But anyway, me being right is a whole nother point. But what do you guys think? Would you get rid of Worrall now? Or are there some of you want to keep him because he's Nottingham? Also, it's a homegrown player as well. Forest will need to take that into consideration when it comes to registration at the end of the transfer window period. But what do you guys think? Would you let Worrall go or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, more and more news. I'm just going to keep it firing right at you guys. And while I'm doing that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. And please do go and download SofaScore. Best football app on the planet. Okay, story number 3. Let's move it on to my boy Dennis, man. And this was a weird one. Kind of came out the blue last night with Romano tweeting about it. Kind of messing up. My boy Romano, man. His tweet was a little bit weird. Anyway, what's he said in that tweet? He said that Watford have agreed to buy, basically, Dennis from Istanbul on a deal where he's going to take a 70% pay cut. And we were all like, wait, hold on. Have we just had a Shelby 2.0 here? Did Dennis have his contract terminated by Forest because of some loan issue regulation thing that we had with Shelby? Well, the answer is no. The answer is no. Romano kind of just was, probably got some auto predict going on those tweets. Forest still own Dennis, as far as we know for now. God knows with Forest these days, but as far as we know. And what's happening is the loan with Istanbul has been terminated, and he's going to take a direct flight basically from Istanbul. Do not pass Nottingham. Do not collect $200. Go straight to North London into Watford, and he's going to join his old club there. And I'm a little surprised at this, with the lack of wingers we've got currently and the ability for that loan deal to be terminated. I am very surprised that Nuno didn't want to have a look at him and get him some game time. Like, I would have personally, you guys know I've always backed Dennis. Personally, I would have terminated his contract straight away, early in the month. Nuno could have had a look at him in those cup games, 2 or 3 games. And then if we didn't like him, well, you could only have really shipped him back to Istanbul. So that may be the problem here, because you can't represent 3 clubs in 1 season. And if it played for Forest in January, then obviously he couldn't go on to Watford. So he's going on to Watford. He's prepared to take a 70% pay cut to go there. The other interesting thing is all the BS everyone was spreading about Dennis from when he signed at Forest, where I don't know if you guys remember, they were saying, oh, it's party atmosphere. They were slamming the door behind him, setting off, you know, the drinks and the cakes and everything. Dennis is gone. We've got rid of the devil, blah, blah, blah. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case because they're welcoming him back with open arms. So I'm against this one. I would have rather he came back to Forest, just even to have another warm body, because Callum Hudson-Odoi at the moment doesn't look it, does he? Elanga's out injured. Rumours are he may be out as long as until March. So why would we not bring a warm-bodied Dennis back into the fold? But I know he splits opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, there's still a lot more to tell you guys about. I hope you're bearing with me right now. In fact, we're just going to kind of do it in a little kind of in other news section. So let's bring that one up for you guys now. So in other news, Nico Williams has had a loan rejected from Forest to go to Feyenoord over in Holland. So that's not happening. I don't think Nico Williams is going to be leaving. We've seen interest from him from the likes of Leeds, etc. And it seems that Nuno wants him there. Fair enough. Now, the stuff I want to talk to you about next is our boys at AFCON, because Ivory Coast got absolutely tonked yesterday. They lost 4-0. Sangare actually scored, but it got disallowed. Looked onside to me. He also missed an absolute sitter where he just blazing squatted it over the bar. Anyway, they are sitting in 3rd place, so do not have automatic qualification. Rejoice, I hear you all saying, no, not quite. This ain't the Euros, this ain't the World Cup. There are 6 groups. Out of the 6 groups, there is a runners-up, not runners-up, but a 3rd place best finisher that you can have. And that goes to 4 teams. So, there needs to be a few decent wins tomorrow for Ivory Coast to go out. Otherwise, they're more than likely going to go through because they've already got 3 points. How's that put you all on a downer? Were you all getting excited to see the likes of Sangare back, Big Willy Bolly back, and Aurier? But Aurier's been quite crap this season, hasn't he? So, those 2 main players, though, I don't think we'll be getting them back unless a lot of dominoes fall in an exact and particular order. But stay tuned, we'll keep you posted when that happens today. All right, that is pretty much everything in a nutshell for you. If anything more breaks, we will bring it to you here on Forest Fan TV. So make sure if you haven't already, you've hit that like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV, and keep those notifications on. I'm telling you, this week is going to be manic on transfers. You won't want to miss a video. And we're breaking it live on Twitter as well. So make sure you're following on Twitter. It's actually quicker than coming out on the Forest channel here, and that's at official FFTV, and on Insta as well. All the links are in the description. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.